Now, you may be asking, what does this have to do with anime? What does this have to do with Solo Leveling, for example? And I want to share with you two different animes that resemble something that's going on here. One is Solo Leveling, the other one is One Piece. So, with Solo Leveling, I think this is one of the easier examples that we can walk through here, and that is obviously the system that Jing Woo has to obey and follow in order to stay alive and in order to progress and ultimately be able to save his mom. Now, Jing Woo is known, for those of you that are not familiar with the anime, he's known as the weakest hunter, the weakest hero, if you want to call him that, of this anime. And he actually gets to a point where he is about to die. And yet there is this quote unquote system that comes before him and actually transforms his life to the point where the system tells him to do a set of specific instructions in order to continue to get stronger. And the thing about Jing Woo here is that he actually follows the instructions of the system and continues to get better. Like, one of the things that he has to do is do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10K run every day. And if he doesn't follow those instructions, then he ends up in this penalty box where he has to face a monster. And this is all for Jing Woo's betterment, because as he continues to do this, you see that his body actually transforms and he becomes better. Similarly, here with Moses, we see that he's actually reluctant to obey God, but ultimately we see the great leader that he becomes, and he actually succeeds in his mission of extracting the people of Israel out of Egypt. All right, so now I want to talk a little bit about Luffy. Now, Luffy is not a stranger when it comes to taking risks, and in fact, when most people ask him for help, regardless of who the enemy is or how these odds are stacked against him, he is always willing to help. And this is what happens in Egghead Island, where we're at now, is that Dr. Vegapunk asks him for his help. And even though in Luffy helping him, he is going to take on the world government, which is one of the largest entities of the world. This is like akin to taking on the Pharaoh in Moses, because these guys have all the power in this anime. And yet this Dr. Vegapunk asks Luffy for help, and he does not hesitate. In fact, he jumps to the opportunity into helping this man that needs help. And this is an example that we should actually learn from, to be open, to be willing to answer God's call when he calls us, even though the odds may be stacked against us. The difference between Luffy and us is that obviously when we answer that call, God is going to equip us and be with us every single step of the way. So guys, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this encourages you to answer the call when God calls you, when he is asking things of you that you may be scared of taking on. And as always, I just want to remind you that we must persevere. Let me know in the comments what you think. Did you know that Moses was this reluctant hero? And yeah, go to church, man. Peace.